I'm no mathematician, but apparently when you add one dynamic designer duo with another dynamic designer duo, plus a factor that one designer exists in both dynamic designer duos, you get 4? For the gods! Take on the role of seafaring temple builders in ancient Greece, raising mighty stone temples dedicated to the gods of Olympus and vying for dominance in the Aegean archipelago. Guide your ship, raise your temples, and lay claim to the island's glory in For the Gods, which was designed by Trevor Benjamin, Brett Gilbert, and David Thompson, and published by Mighty Boards, who helped sponsor this video. Hi everyone, this is Candice from Kickin' It Creative. I just want to say everything you're going to see in this video is from a prototype copy of the game, because this game is being crowdfunded on Kickstarter, and at the time of me recording this, it's not fully produced yet. So anyways, we got some gods over there on the table that are begging us to dedicate some tall, beautiful temples in their name. So let's see what For the Gods is all about. For the Gods is a strategic area control game where 2 to 4 players sail the seas to establish new temples and elevate existing ones. Along the way, you'll collect godstones and unleash their divine powers at the right moment to trigger powerful effects. Whichever player has gained the most glory from having the tallest temples on the islands wins the game. To set up, you'll place the game board in the center of your play area. The map is divided into 5 islands, and each island has 2 or 3 regions. In a 4-player game, you'll play with all 5 islands. However, with 2 or 3 players, you only play with 3 or 4 islands respectively. Each player takes a bag and all the components of one color, a screen, a ship, bases, cornices, and 24 player stones, which are placed in your bag. There are 6 stones of each rank, 1, 2, 3, and 4, based on the pips. Each player's ship starts on the marked harbor in the middle of the board. You'll seed the board with glory tokens by shuffling them face down and placing them on each region in play, noting the ones that have the temple icons must be placed in city spaces. You'll also place silver or bronze glory tokens under each gold glory, showing a circle of the corresponding color. Next, you'll shuffle the god cards and place a number of them face up based on player count, with their corresponding god stones, which are placed on the regions with gold glory tokens. Finally, you'll shuffle the stones in your bag and draw 5, which you'll place behind your screen, hidden from other players. Think of it like your hand of cards. For the Gods is played over a number of player turns, starting with the player who most recently visited Greece. Each player's turn has 3 phases, where you'll use the stones in your hand to move, then build, and then you'll draw back stones from your bag. For the move phase, you can spend stones to move your ship along 1 or more sea routes from one harbor to another, returning 1 stone back into your bag for each sea route you move along. Any number of ships can be at the same harbor, and you could always choose not to move. Then, for the build phase, if you don't have a temple in the region where your ship currently is, you can establish one by placing 1 or more stones of the same rank from your hand onto one of your temple bases. Then, if the region has any god stones present, you immediately gain one, adding it to your bag. If your ship ends up in a harbor with a temple you established on a previous turn, you can elevate it by adding any number of your stones with the same rank. During your build phase, if you have a godstone in your hand, you can choose to dedicate your temple to the corresponding god and activate their power. Each god has a unique power, and they're all pretty cool. For example, when you dedicate a temple to Artemis, gain a bronze glory token if at least 1 other ship is in the same harbor. When you dedicate a temple to Hermes, immediately draw 2 additional stones from your bag and then complete another move and build phase. Then go on to your normal draw phase. Before you dedicate a temple to Poseidon, you can move your ship to any harbor for free, then dedicate your temple in that region to Poseidon. Some god powers integrate foundation stones, which are white, just plain neutral stones. When you dedicate a temple to Zeus, you get to add a foundation stone to each of your other temples on the same island. After you move and build, put any stones you still have in your hand back into your bag and then shuffle it real good. Then, to end your turn, draw 5 stones from your bag and start planning your next turn. The end of the game is triggered when a player needs to draw more stones than they have left in their bag. Then all other players take one final turn in clockwise order, and then you'll score each region to see who earns the glory tokens. In each region, the player with the tallest temple wins the gold glory, and the player with the second tallest temple receives the silver or bronze glory token if one is present, with ties being broken based on rank. After you score each region, add up those glory points, because whoever has the highest total from their glory tokens wins the game. For the Gods is a fast-playing, slick, and elegant area majority game that feels familiar, yet fresh. It's really easy to get into because the rules are light and very straightforward, and yet each game presents different challenges and opportunities thanks to the 12 unique god powers and the variable scoring setup. For a game that plays so smoothly, you have so many thinky decisions. You gotta figure out which rank stones to build where and when, especially considering you're limited to 6 stones per rank, and you're gonna wanna outrank your opponents on places where you might tie. And then you're deciding which regions do you wanna hit first, because everyone's gonna be racing for those juicy god stones. And of course, you also want to have the tallest temple in the regions that score best. And the god tokens are great, so you're racing to claim them, but they go into your bag and you'll eventually draw them, but you don't know the timing of when you will get them. And because the powers vary so much too, you'll also be thinking about when and where it makes sense to dedicate one of your temples to a particular god. There are some god powers that have a bit of take that, like when you dedicate a temple to Ares, you remove the god stone from the top of another player's temple in the same region, and then you get to immediately place it in your bag. So not everybody will be into that, but I really like that you play with a random mix of gods because it's so fun to find synergies with their effects. But you also need to pay attention to how many you're adding to your bag, because it's not very efficient if you end up drawing a hand of all god stones for one of your turns. Also, players are spending their stones to build temples at different rates, so you never quite know how soon the game is gonna end. But it always happens so fast. It always happens so fast. So you need to be prepared for that. I enjoyed playing it at all 3 player counts, 2, 3, and 4, with 2 feeling a bit more chess-like, but still cool. Besides the awesome table presence, the tactile experience is fantastic. I just love how satisfying it feels, like shuffling those stones around in your bag and then secretly drawing them behind your screen. And hey, it's just fun seeing a board that starts bare and then 45 minutes later or less, it's all built up with colorful temples. If For the Gods looks and sounds like a game you'd enjoy, be sure to check it out from Mighty Boards. Thanks for watching.